So if Lampard gets a job, like I said. Hello and welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be doing who I believe should get the Chelsea job, because I don't believe that Frank Lampard should get the job. So I understand why Chelsea are going for Frank Lampard, because they have the pull power against Derby, and he's a club legend, so he'll be very much favourable for the job. But he's a club legend, nothing more than that, and they shouldn't try and ruin his legend status by making him a manager, because if he becomes a manager, he might be an awful, it might dampen his reputation and fans will start to turn on him, and it'll damage his legend status. He's also not ready for the job in my opinion, because he's very new to the managerial scene, and he didn't get Derby promoted. He either couldn't get past Aston Villa, and it's just, I don't think it's going to work. I understand why they might get him for the first season, because we've obviously got the transfer ban, so he doesn't really have he hasn't been given the financial means to buy any players and risk of a club by bringing in different accusations. And also, if he might be he'll be good with Mason Mount and Reece James, but that's not enough to keep him as a manager and have him as a manager. To be honest, I believe that Eddie Howe will be the better replacement, because he's been a terrific manager for Bournemouth, and he's been absolutely amazing with the young English players, because he could develop Callum Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham, he could also develop Mason Mount, Reece James, Tammy Abraham, Hudson-Odoi. Then he's very good with the English players, and that's what Chelsea need to do during the transfer ban, because we just need to grow the youth players up, just so we don't have to rely on the transfer market every year. And Eddie Howe's been a terrific manager for Bournemouth, and he's fairly young, so we can have him for a long period of time. And it's also, I believe it's his time to get the promotion of the club which he needs, and he'll be good in the transfer window after the transfer ban's been served. Then I also believe that Rafael Benitez could be a good new manager, because if there's a rumour that he's been offered 12 million euros to go to the Chinese league, Chelsea could match that, just so we could have a manager who can control the players, because Mauricio Sarri got trampled over by all the players, mainly Kepa, the Carabao Cup. Then if we have someone who's actually a respectable manager figure and who can control the players, and it's just not a player-run club, and it actually gives some authority back to the club. And he's very good with money. He proved that with Newcastle. He was signing players like Dubravka for 4.5 million when he was when he's like tripled their values, so that shows that he can buy. He's very good with the transfers, and he'll be good during the transfer ban as well, because he can work with the players he's got, because Mike Ashley gave him very bare fundings. No, he gave him very little fundings. And he's also, I know the Chelsea fans don't really like him, but if he does a good job, then that'll change their mind. And he's also a more respectable name in the managerial world than Lampard, because he's more experienced and he's one of the most successful managers of all time, and he's proven that he can win titles with not even the best best teams, with Liverpool, because they didn't have the strongest team but they had a good team, and that's what Chelsea have due to the loss of Eden Hazard. And next good manager could be Nuno Espirito Santo, because he's done a terrific job for Wolves, and he's developed young players and inexperienced Premier League players into high quality and got them into the Europa League. He's also good with the youth players, so he can develop them further, shown by Morgan Gibbs of White. And he's been improving his calibre of play, so much so that he got England under 21 Euros. So it just shows that he can work with any young player who's in front of him. He's also relatively new to the Premier League managing scene as well, but he's already demonstrated that he can handle the top flight pressure. You'll say Mourinho could also be another good managerial option, because he knows how the clubs works and people will respect his authority, so keeper and players like that won't just trample over the club and absolutely destroy the club again. So Mourinho is very proven that he's good with transfers and he can win titles, but he's also got the experience, and it'll just show that we're still a great club because we can still bring the pull and power of great managers. So it just demonstrates that we are still a team to be reckoned with in the Champions League, where if we have Frank Lampard, it's a new kettle of fish, and he doesn't have any experience of Champions League football as a manager and Premier League football as a manager, because he couldn't get Derby promoted. Then there is Javi Garcia is another option, because he's got Watford very far up to the club, very far up the Premier League, and improved all the players who you wouldn't expect to. He's brought the best out of players who have reputations to be sluggish and lazy, like Gerard Deulofeu, and then they can be the best of their ability. He also, yes, we got trounced in the FA Cup 6-0 by Man City, but it was always going to happen anyway. And then, but they still showed that they can mess with the big teams, which is shown against Man U and Arsenal. But it'll be a risk for Javi Garcia to become the Chelsea manager, because he's never really had the money to spend on big players, so you wouldn't really know who he'd bring in. Probably Gerard Deulofeu again, because he's obsessed with him. Then, since Maurizio Sarri was an Italian manager who's went to Juventus, I thought that Massimiliano Allegri, the former Juventus manager, could be a great option, because it could be like another Antonio Conte 2.0, who could be like another Italian manager who comes in and changes the league. Because when Antonio Conte came in, he won the Premier League in his first season. Then when this season after he won the FA Cup, then he got incorrectly sacked, which I was not happy about. And because if Conte stayed, he would have brought the club, he would have kept the club in the greatness, and Sarri wouldn't have had to happen. So we wouldn't have had lazy players like Jorginho and Marcos Alonso. They're still at the club, even though Marcos Alonso was a great player for Sunderland, but he's lost his work ethic and he's not as good as what he used to be. But Massimiliano Allegri, he's already won major titles with Juventus, and he's won trebles of trophies, and he's a very well reputed candidate, and he beats Frank Lampard on every option you're looking for in a manager. For the club, for the financial means of bringing like players in and having like a happier morale around the club, I'll probably get Eddie Howe as the manager, because he deserves a chance at the bigger leagues, and he can spend his money wisely, shown by the accusations of Jefferson Lerma for 29 million for Bournemouth. and Bournemouth aren't the biggest club in the league, but they spend the money where it counts, and they've kept Callum Wilson and Josh King there for a long time, longer than I thought, because I thought Callum Wilson would have signed for Spurs or some team like that in January. But Frank Lampard won't work for Chelsea because he'll be like another Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because Solskjaer had the team and the fans all behind him after winning a couple of games in a row and beating PSG. Frank Lampard will probably have like the honeymoon period like Solskjaer, then just lose it, then all the fans will turn on them, because as a club that's normally what we're doing, as fans is that what we normally do, because Sarri went on a bad streak of like losing 4 games and like, oh, Sarri has to be out. Yes, I know he damaged the club, but he's still got us to Europa League, which is more trophies than I thought we were going to win. But another factor is that Christian Pulisic is a £65 million investment which was signed over a January transfer window, so he could be given the best out of by Mourinho or Rafael Benitez, because he's a young talent, but he's already got a playing style which could work in Premier League, because he's a fast winger, but he's got good crossing ability, dribbling ability and passing ability, but he can also play with either foot because he's very well rounded, and at a young age that's crucial. But I'm pretty sure we've paid the highest he'll ever go for, because I don't think he'll be the height of Eden Hazard. I don't believe he'll be the Eden Hazard replacement. If Eddie Howe becomes the Chelsea manager, which I believe he should, he'll get the best out of Callum Hudson-Odoi, and to be honest I believe he could be for Eden Hazard, because or the closest we can get to Eden Hazard. And as Petr Cech's technical director, the new addition, he'll bring his wise knowledge of football and players' abilities and into the role, so that'll add another element for a new manager. But to conclude, I don't believe that Frank Lampard has the credentials. I believe it'll be like another Roberto Di Matteo mistake, because Di Matteo won the Champions League and the FA Cup in one season, and he still got sacked because they didn't win the Premier League, which is outrageous. So I think Lampard should learn from that mistake, or learn from that experience, so it just doesn't turn out to be like him. I think that he should also get another season at Derby, because it's a good learning curve, and if he gets promoted, then that's when we should be thinking about giving him at least a chance. Maybe as in like an assistant manager, so we can learn off someone who's more experienced, so we can develop his managerial tactics, and so he gets a better, an even greater learning curve in the Premier League, like how Mikel Arteta is doing it for Man City or for Pep Guardiola. So I don't think Lampard will last long for Chelsea if he gets the job, because the club will either get sick of him or he'll just not get the records, get the game points we need, so he'll get sacked. So if Lampard gets the job and if he doesn't get sacked by February 2020, I'll jump in an ice bath, because that's how confident I am that Lampard isn't the right man for the job. So he isn't ready to make the jump up yet, because he couldn't get past the fact that Marcelo Bielsa was spying on his training, so he couldn't get past the minor hiccup in the plans, and it derailed their Premier League chances. and promotion chances, because in that late Norwich and Sheffield run off with the leagues, or run off with the championship. So yeah, it's a disaster waiting to happen, and I thought we would have learned from the Maurizio Sarri story, but I guess not. So if Lampard gets a job, like I said, and doesn't get sacked by February 2020, I'll jump in the ice bath. And so thanks for watching, like and subscribe. Bye.